Hey guys, so welcome back. Today's lesson is on simplifying polynomial expressions. Most of you would have probably seen this at some point already, but I just want to go over it and we'll talk about how it works. Biggest thing in this lesson is what we call the distributive property, and it has to deal with when you are multiplying terms with other terms. And especially when we get into binomials or like terms that have two different terms in them. And so what's going to happen, or how I think of it, is I'm always just going to take the first term and multiply it by everything that's in the bracket. So in this case, we're going to do a times a and then plus a times c, which will give us a squared plus ac. Now, the biggest point, or the thing to remember, is watch your signs. So I'm a hashtag signs that, because you want to make sure that if you have positives and negative signs that you're multiplying them correctly. So for example, because this has a plus sign in front of the c, the plus stays with the c. If it was a minus c and we did it like this, that minus is with that c and it kind of stays with it. So in this case, it would be a times a plus a times negative c. So be careful with the pluses and the minus signs, and that you're following them through, because that's kind of where most people make really tiny mistakes, and it ends up kind of ruining the whole question, which I don't want that to happen with you guys. So please pay attention to the signs. So as I was saying, in this case, it would be a squared and then a times negative c. Anytime you have a positive times a negative, it becomes negative. So notice the difference there. This one was a plus and this one was a negative. So please just pay attention to the signs, because that's where kind of the most mistakes happen. Okay, let's do, I'm going to show you an example, kind of more complicated example than what we just did. And we're going to expand and simplify x plus 2, which is in the first bracket, and 3x plus 4. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. So what I do is I take that first term and multiply it by each of the terms in the second bracket. And then what I'll do is I'll take that second term and multiply it by each of the ones in the second bracket. So here's how it looks when I do it. X times 3x, I'm going to give you all the steps. X times 3x plus x times 4. And then the second set, 2 times 3x, so plus 2 times 3x plus 2 times 4. And what you're going to do is multiply them out. So x times 3x is 3x squared. X times 4 is 4x. 2 times 3x gives me 6x. And 2 times 4 gives me 8. And then what we'll do is we'll collect these like terms. Because they look the same, we can put them together. So 3x squared, 4 plus 6 gives us 10x's, and plus 8. So that is, this was the expand part. Expand, and here we simplified. And we simplified because we collected like terms. Okay. So moving down the sheet, there is an example, because there are a lot of different examples like in the practice question, or questions that you'll see that look very similar to this. So I want to go through this kind of example for you. So a container is in the shape of a rectangular prism. The width is 2 more than the height, and the length is 5 more than the height. So here they've done it. Determine an expression for the surface area of the container. So first, let's talk about the surface area of this container. It is a rectangular prism, and I know that I have a front and a back, which are the same. I know I have 2 sides, which are the same, and a top and a bottom, which happen to be the same. So our surface area is going to be 2 times the length and width plus 2 of the length and the height plus 2 of the width and height. Okay, so what we're going to do is, if this is our length, this is our width, and this is our height, we're going to sub those in for our letters L, W, and H. So here's what happens. We got 2 times the length, which is x plus 5, times the width, which is x plus 2. So all I'm doing right now is substituting it in. L, x plus 5, H is x, and then 2 of the width, x plus 2, and the height, which was x. Now, this looks really complicated, and it's a lot of different steps. So what lots of the questions want you to do is they want you to expand and simplify. Expand and simplify, because when you're trying to find an expression, they want the easiest one that you could possibly get. So that involves you expanding and simplifying. So let's do each one. I'm going to leave the 2 out for the first part, but I'm going to expand and simplify this one. So x squared plus 2x plus 5x plus 10 plus 2 times, and this one we'll just do the x by each of them in there, so it becomes x squared plus 5x. And this 2 I'll leave out as well, but it becomes x squared plus 2x. Okay, once we've done that, I'm going to collect the like terms, especially in this one. So x squared plus 7x plus 10, 2 times x squared plus 5x plus 2 times x squared plus 2x. Okay, this next part, I'm going to multiply the 2 into everything. So this 2 is going to go into this bracket, and into this bracket. And when you do it, multiply the 2 by everything that's in there. So by that, and by that. So 2x squared, 2 times 7 is 14, and 2 times 10 is 20. And at this point, we can just drop the brackets because we don't need them anymore. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 5 is 10x. And then the last one is 2x squared plus 4x. And then here we will collect our like terms. I'm going to show you them in a different color. So the x squareds, I'm going to deal with them first. And we have 3 of them, and they all say 2x squared. So 2x squared plus 2x squared plus 2x squared gives us 6x squared. Then I'm going to collect the x's. We have a 14x plus a 10x plus a 4x. And if we add them together, 14 plus 10 is 24. Plus 4 is 28. So we get 28x. And then we have our plus 20 at the end. So this is our whole thing. Our simplified expression is 6x squared plus 28x plus 20. Now, the reason they do that is because this is only 3 terms and is a heck of a lot easier to work with than this thing up here. This is complicated to do and it requires a lot of steps. This looks easier. It's only 3 terms. It's less cumbersome, less confusing, most people find. So that's what they mean by determinant expression, a simplified expression. So that is what a lot of the questions are. And then very easily I could say, tell me the surface area of the container if x is equal to 5, like if the height is 5. Then you would just put 5 in for all the x's and solve it. Super simple, but it does take a little bit of tedious work before you get to that simplified expression. A lot of your questions in today's practice is going to have stuff like this, and most of the stuff is given. You just have to work with it. But there you go, guys. Have fun with it.